John Wiles. I'm the president of the local S.C.O.R.E chapter, and Dana and Justin have been clients of mine. So I'm here as a veteran to support veterans and to support this lady and this gentleman in creating a nonprofit to help veterans.
Thank you so much for being here, and I want to introduce Jim Simons. I'm sorry, Jim. He is the chairman of Veteran 360, and also he's the former skipper of the USS Ronald Reagan to live at the Morning of Law. Thank you so much. We will open up the event with maybe Q&A afterwards, and he can briefly tell his little story here.
How are you?
Thank you, Dana. Thank you for that very nice introduction, and thank you for doing this. I appreciate this for all of us who are part of Veterans 360. So for those of you who are here for this event, I appreciate your being here tonight. I want to tell you how I got involved with Veterans 360. I'm a veteran of 35 years in the Navy. I flew jets. Lucky enough to command an aircraft carrier, USS Ronald Reagan. When I retired in 2010, I had never flown in combat. But for the last 9 years of my career, I knew that a lot of young folks in all of our services were carrying a lot of water for all of us. And having contemplated throughout my career, all of us who trained for combat wonder what it might be like. No military person in his right mind wishes for war. However, you are intrigued by what your reactions would be. What would it be like? How would you perform? And so having thought about that over the course of my career, to then have, for the last 9 years of my career, have all these young folks, these 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, carry the water for us in Iraq and Afghanistan was a very humbling thing for me. And so I vowed that when I left the Navy, one thing I wanted to do was try and help them and give back a little bit. After my wife and I had taken our break for a while and enjoyed Arizona, we came down here because my son married a girl from Chandler, Arizona, and so we discovered the area and found out it was a pretty nice place. But after we had taken a break, after I retired, and decided, okay, what do I really want to do? It was just about that time when I was connected up with Rick Collins. Rick Collins is a wonderful young man. He is a former Royal Marine, having come here from the UK for business, to play rugby, and all that. By the way, former Royal Marine, he actually saw some time in the Falklands back in the 80s. A really good grunt, as he would describe himself. A good salt-of-the-earth guy. Well, Rick had done some work with veterans. Over the course of his time, he was employed in the corporate world. But he got very serious about trying to help veterans, and he actually lost a couple of friends to suicide. Military veterans. And so he became very passionate about this work. And Rick is a bit of a genius here because he came about a formula that I think is crucial in guiding all of our young veterans to civilian life. And here's the model. You have a young gen or gal right out of high school who maybe in 2001, 2002, for all of the right reasons, as a lot of young folks on my ship said, I joined because of 9/11. And went off to war. Army, Marine Corps, sailors who also found themselves on the ground in Iraq, Afghanistan, and now are being mustered out. So maybe the kid is 26, 27 years old, has several years in the service, and really no experience in the civilian world. What was that military service like? Well, it's about as tough as it can be. These wars, I talk a little bit about how these wars are different. Number one, there's no front lines in Iraq and Afghanistan. that was different. So, to my way of thinking, if I set foot in Iraq and Afghanistan, my antenna are up from the time I arrive until the time I leave, if that's 9 months later. So now think of, for 9 months, being a heightened state of readiness within yourself. Heightened adrenaline flow for that amount of time, let alone if something should happen to you, an IED on a road, what you should see, what you should be involved in. And then deploy 3 or 4 times over the course of 6 or 8 years. And those are the young kids that we are concerned about. But now let me tell you this. There is classic post-traumatic stress. If you've seen something or been involved in something that was a trauma to your person or your psyche, we know clinically that you're going to have some sort of reverberation, some sort of echoes of that event sometime later in your life. But you know, I heard another aspect of it today. And I think some of you, if you've read combat stories, whether from this last 10 years or from other wars, you might identify with this. I know a young veteran who I'm involved with in Phoenix, who said today, when it was described to him that PTS is all about, this is the coolest you're ever going to be. Now let me explain that a little bit. What did he mean?
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit flip, and when he said he first heard it that way, he wasn't sure that it made a lot of sense. But here's what he meant. When he's a National Guard, has civilian life, and when he deployed, he's a part of a civil engineering battalion. He said, I was an E5, I had a number of folks under my charge, I had all the resources I need, all the equipment, and I had a mission to go do, and I did the mission. And everything I needed to do it. And now when I come back, at the end of my deployment, and I come back home, and I had to scrape to get a job as a bouncer in a bar. So what he's talking about is the responsibility, the camaraderie, the heightened intensity of the job that he was assigned in Afghanistan, and he went about and did it, and came back to what? Very low intensity, no camaraderie whatsoever, and a psychological longing to be where he was before. Even though it's a combat zone, he'd rather have been back there. How many of you have heard of young gents losing a leg and screaming to get back to their unit in Iraq or Afghanistan? We hear it all the time. It's the shared experience in a period of intensity that makes all the difference. So for that, and now, let me tell you, his unit didn't lose anybody in Afghanistan. So, and in fact, the events that we might call PTS initiating really didn't sort of happen to them. However, it wasn't 3 days when they got back on Christmas Eve of 2013, and it wasn't 3 days later he found out one of his young jets killed himself. So it's PTS, but it's something else. It's something lost. It's the heightened sense of duty, the heightened sense of belonging that these young folks, now when mustered out of the Marine Corps or the Army, are missing. And then what happens? They don't really have a retirement. They might have a disability, which will pay them a little bit of money. And so what Rick is concerned about, what we're concerned about, is the rat hole that these folks may go down without a job, without the money to exist, and without the sense of belonging that they had just a few days ago, or just a few months ago. And that's what we're trying to get ahead of. And so the idea for Veterans 360 is prevention through engagement, education, and employment. Because as I said to Andrew today, the young gent that was explaining this, PTS is all about, this is as cool as you'll ever be. What that says to me is that as soon as we possibly can, for somebody who's come back from that sort of intensity and that sort of belonging is to get that person into a meaningful job. Something where they know, as I've always said, you are a contributing member of a winning team. That's what we all want to be. And so as soon as we can get that young Marine, guy or gal, Army guy or gal, into a situation like that, the better off they're going to be. Not only from a money and living standpoint, but from a belonging standpoint. And from a I am necessary and I'm needed by somebody standpoint. So, our Vision Invest 360 is exactly that. And if we could do it, if we could have the services ready to turn over a young gen or gal to us as soon as they left, this is what we would do. Engage them to understand kind of where they're at as far as, physically and psychologically. Healing opportunities. Now, Rick has taken folks on sailing trips and riding trips and horsebacking trips. I, with another vet, started Golf for Warriors. We're teaching young vets how to play golf for free. The same sort of thing. And something to engage their mind, something to energize them, something to challenge them that they can put their energy into. At the same time, a bit of education. What is the civilian world like? What is it that you're looking for? What suits you? And then how can we specifically educate you to that, whatever it is you'd like to do, in order to get you meaningful employment? And then engage with employers to help them understand this is what you're getting from a veteran. So it's about getting a job and sustaining a job. I believe that Rick, in partnering with another Navy vet, Kevin Jackson, who is a cyber guru, we're about to turn a corner with Vets 360, and that's what all of our support is going to go to after this. And it's in the realm of cloud technology. Cloud technology, a very new aspect. 2 years ago, if you said cloud, you meant you look up. I had no idea what the cloud was all about. But as Kevin will tell you, there are all sorts of sectors of the economy right now, and all sorts of companies out there right now that are searching for how to best manage and secure their data in the cloud. Okay, so that's how this comes about. Kevin and Rick formed a partnership, came up with curricula so that we can teach young veterans how to manage data in the cloud, to get them a job that's meaningful to a lot of companies out there, and therefore get them hired into something that's going to provide them a good future. Through the Workforce Investment Act in California, we've actually partnered with we've gotten a certification from the Workforce Investment Board such that for every one of these veterans we teach, we're going to get paid back by the government. So everybody wins. We've gotten to where we get to where we can self-support this nonprofit, and at the same time, give veterans a leg up on getting themselves a sustainable future. So that's what we're looking forward to, and anything that this session tonight provides for us, Dana, that support is going to go on so we can turn a corner, support this whole thing, and it's a model that can be exported throughout the country. Rick is nothing if not a network builder, and if there's anybody in San Diego County that's doing something with veterans, he knows it, and he's partnered with them. So that's why I appreciate the support of Veterans 360. I think it's a model that can work anywhere, and I think especially this partnership and this idea about cloud technology and training young vets for this meaningful work is what's really important. There's one last thing that I know Rick would want me to tell you. And that is, he calls it normalizing PTS. And what he means by that is, we need to have folks who are concerned about and afflicted by PTS understand that it's nothing more than a medical situation. There should be no stigma attached. There should be no, I'm afraid to come forward because I'm afraid of this or that and the other. And that's exactly what Rick is looking for. And so our next real push over the next year is to try and get that done. And mind you, we're not talking about just veterans. Firefighters, policemen, nurses, can be affected by PTS every bit as much as those who've been in combat. So those are our ideas. That's what Veterans 360 is all about. I think Rick is a genius in his own way, and I believe that this is going to take hold. So I appreciate all of you coming here tonight. Those of you who are listening, and all of your support is going to go to a great cause. Thank you very much, Dana. Any questions?
Q&A?
Let me talk to you about Jordan Career. This really is sort of the reason that we're here, is because Dana really picked up on Veterans 360 when Rick was able to help out Jordan here. Jordan was in a group called Oasis, which is a PTS...
Yeah, it's a residential treatment program, 10.5 weeks.
In San Diego at the hospital.
Yeah.
And when they were about to discharge you, they called Rick, and he put you up in what he calls Casa Vets 360.
Yes.
Rick had a house that whenever he had a young veteran who needed some help, needed a place to stay, this is where we put him. And we got Jordan a bit of training in emergency medical tech, right?
Yeah, EMT, and I took a security course up in LA.
Outstanding. And so really started to get Jordan back on his feet again. Dana picked up on this, was very appreciative of what Rick did, and that's kind of how we all met together. And Jordan, I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your service out there.
Thank you.
You're a Marine Corps, right?
Yes.
And how many times did you deploy in the Marines?
I deployed once. I did it 4 years.
And to where?
Afghanistan is a Helmand province. It's a very kinetic deployment.
I'm sure you understand what he means by kinetic. Helmand province being one of the tough places there. God bless you. Okay. Thanks, Dan.
All right. Okay, I'll let Jordan speak if he has anything more to say. And again, thank you, everybody, for being part of this. And this will continue on. We do have auction items. We have a display out on the patio. If you come look at that. And we'll be starting that auction here shortly. And you can look at those items, like I said. And thank you, One Heartbeat and Arizona.
AZ Live TV.
AZ Live TV. All right, thanks so much, and we'll talk back with you soon.
I don't need a microphone. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
So yeah, like she said, we have auction items outside. They're pretty expensive, so bust out your wallets. There's a lot of information out there about Veterans 360. There's a video. You can see actually what Rick looks like, sounds like. He talks like a Brit, so he's a Brit. So come outside. I'll be glad to talk to you about anything. If you want to donate, you can do it online. You can also do it here with a card, cash, whatever, or you can write a check and put it in an envelope for us. One more thing I wanted to say was PTS is a normal response to an abnormal situation. So that's one thing that needs to get out there, because I know trying to get a job, I won't keep it much longer, but trying to get a job and PTSD comes over, PTS comes up, and the employer thinks you're going to shoot the place. They think you're going to go crazy. You think you're going to start a fight. That's not the case. Well, not always. But that's not the case, and again, that stigma shouldn't be tacked onto that. That's all I got, but please feel free to come outside. I set all that up twice, so, I'll talk about it more. Thanks.
So